Hello, friends, welcome to our channel, where we dive deep into the world of literature, uncover the secrets of beloved books, and explore the lives of their authors. Today, we're tackling a true cultural phenomenon, the works of John Ronald Reuel Tolkien, specifically his iconic The Lord of the Rings series, along with The Hobbit and the Silmarillion. These books gave us Middle-earth, a world of hobbits, elves, magical rings, and epic battles that changed fantasy forever. From the pages of The Hobbit, written as a children's tale, to the grand saga of The Lord of the Rings, and the mythological depth of the Silmarillion, Tolkien's works have captured the hearts of millions. But how did he create this magnificent world? What challenges did he overcome? What hidden meanings did he weave into his stories? Why should you read The Hobbit? And how does the Silmarillion enrich Middle-earth? And who was J.R.R. Tolkien, the man whose imagination brought Middle-earth to life? In this video, we'll cover everything, from Tolkien's biography to the creation of his works, from themes and symbolism to fascinating facts you may not know. We'll discuss why The Hobbit is a must-read, how the Silmarillion reveals the depths of Middle-earth, and why The Lord of the Rings remains timeless. This will be a long but incredibly exciting journey, so grab your favorite drink, get comfortable, and let's head to the Shire, Gondor, and beyond. If you love these deep dives, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. It really helps us create more content like this. Before we start, tell me, have you read The Hobbit, The Lord of the Rings, or maybe the Silmarillion? Which is your favorite? Are you a fan of Peter Jackson's films? Drop your thoughts in the comments, I'd love to hear them. Now, let's embark on this adventure into Tolkien's world. Part 1, Who was J.R.R. Tolkien? Biography and context. Early years, childhood and formation. John Ronald Reuel Tolkien was born on January 3, 1892, in Bloemfontein, South Africa, where his father, Arthur Tolkien, worked as a bank manager. His mother, Mabel, was a creative soul who instilled in Ronald a love for stories, nature, and art. His childhood was marked by hardship. At age 3, due to his frail health, the family returned to England. In 1896, Arthur died of rheumatic fever, leaving Mabel with two sons, Ronald and Hilary, in financial distress. Mabel moved to Warwickshire, where the English countryside, green hills, old mills, cozy villages, inspired the Shire. She homeschooled Ronald, teaching him to read, write, and even study basic Latin. Her conversion to Catholicism in 1900 shaped Tolkien's spiritual life, though it caused conflicts with her family, who cut off support. In 1904, Mabel died of diabetes, leaving 12-year-old Ronald an orphan. This loss profoundly affected him, strengthening his faith and sense of loss, which later permeated his works. Education and love for languages. Tolkien entered Oxford University in 1911, initially studying classical philology before switching to English language and literature. His passion for languages was extraordinary. He studied Old English, Gothic, Welsh, Finnish, and more, which became the foundation for Middle-earth's invented languages. In school, he formed the TCBS, Tea Club and Barovian Society, with friends, sharing ideas about literature and mythology. This friendship inspired him, but many of these friends died in World War I, adding tragedy to his works. World War I, a formative trauma. In 1915, Tolkien graduated from Oxford with honors and was soon drafted into the army. He served as a lieutenant in the Lancashire Fusiliers and fought in the Battle of the Somme in 1916, one of history's bloodiest battles. The trenches, the loss of friends, and the destruction of nature left a deep mark on him. Contracting trench fever, he returned to England, but the war shaped his views. Themes of loss, heroism, and the fight against evil in The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit stem from this experience. For instance, the Dead Marshes and the Two Towers were inspired by the battlefields littered with fallen soldiers. Academic career and literary beginnings. After the war, Tolkien worked on the Oxford English Dictionary and later became a professor of Anglo-Saxon literature at Oxford. His lectures on Beowulf were legendary, and his essay Beowulf, The Monsters and the Critics revolutionized its study. Alongside this, he began crafting his own mythology, stories that became the Silmarillion. His first published book, The Hobbit, 1937, was a children's tale, but it laid the groundwork for The Lord of the Rings. Personal life and influence. In 1916, Tolkien married Edith Bratt, his childhood sweetheart, who inspired the character Luthien in the Silmarillion. They had 4 children, for whom Tolkien invented stories, including The Hobbit. He was a humble man who loved nature, books, and pub conversations with friends from the Inklings literary group, which included C.S. Lewis. His Catholic faith shaped his views on good, evil, and life's purpose, reflected in all his works. Part 2: The Creation of the Hobbit, The Lord of the Rings, and the Silmarillion. The Hobbit, How It All Began. The Hobbit, or There and Back Again, 1937, was Tolkien's first published work, written as a bedtime story for his children. It began with a spontaneous sentence scribbled on a blank exam paper: "In a hole in the ground there lived a hobbit." This sparked the tale of Bilbo Baggins, a hobbit who embarks on an adventure with dwarves and the wizard Gandalf to defeat the dragon Smaug and reclaim a treasure. Why read The Hobbit? Accessibility and charm. The Hobbit is a light yet profound tale, perfect for both children and adults. It teaches courage, as Bilbo, an ordinary hobbit, becomes a hero by overcoming his fears. Gateway to Middle-earth. The book introduces the Shire, Gandalf, and the Ring, setting the stage for The Lord of the Rings. Universal themes. The story of a journey and returning home resonates with anyone seeking meaning and change. Fascinating facts about The Hobbit. Unexpected success. Tolkien didn't expect The Hobbit to become a bestseller. Publisher Stanley Unwin approved it after his 10-year-old son gave a glowing review. The Ring's origins. In The Hobbit, the ring was just a magical artifact. Only during The Lord of the Rings did Tolkien make it central. Mythological roots. Smaug draws from Beowulf, and the dwarves from Norse sagas. Challenges of writing. Tolkien wrote The Hobbit in fits and starts, balancing it with teaching. He struggled to maintain a fairy tale tone while incorporating deeper themes that emerged. Publishers also requested illustrations, so Tolkien drew maps and sketches, adding to his workload. The Lord of the Rings, crafting an epic. The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, The Two Towers, The Return of the King, 1954 to 1955, began as a sequel to The Hobbit but grew into an epic saga. Tolkien started in 1937, after The Hobbit's success, and took 12 years to complete it. He created not just a story but an entire world with its own languages, history, and geography. Inspiration. Tolkien drew from mythologies: Norse, Edda, Anglo-Saxon, Beowulf, and Celtic. The Shire reflects the rural England he loved, while Mordor symbolizes industrialization, which he despised. His World War I experience influenced the portrayal of battles and psychological burdens, e.g., Frodo carrying the ring. Challenges. Scale. Tolkien crafted a detailed world, including languages, Quenya, Sindarin, maps, and timelines, requiring years of work. Time and resources. Balancing teaching, family, and writing slowed progress. Tolkien often rewrote chapters, striving for perfection. Publishing issues. Publishers wanted a shorter work, but Tolkien insisted on the trilogy. High printing costs forced its division into 3 parts, which frustrated him. The Silmarillion, Middle-earth's mythology. The Silmarillion, published posthumously in 1977 by Tolkien's son Christopher, is a collection of myths and legends about Middle-earth. From its creation to events preceding The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, it was Tolkien's most ambitious project, worked on throughout his life. Significance. Foundation of Middle-earth. The Silmarillion details the world's creation by Eru Ilúvatar and the wars over the Silmarils, magical jewels. Mythological depth. It resembles the Bible or Norse sagas, providing context for the trilogy's events. Why read it? For fans. It explains the origins of elves, men, dwarves, and Sauron. Its epic, almost biblical style is denser than The Hobbit or The Lord of the Rings. Fascinating facts. Lifelong work. Tolkien began the Silmarillion stories in the trenches of World War I, including the fall of Gondolin. Posthumous publication. Christopher Tolkien compiled and edited his father's drafts to publish the book. Luthien and Beren, their story, central to the Silmarillion, was inspired by Tolkien's love for Edith. Challenges. Tolkien never finished the Silmarillion due to its complexity and his perfectionism. He constantly revised stories to align with The Lord of the Rings. Publishers deemed it too intricate for a broad audience. Part 3: Plot and Hidden Meanings. Plot overview. The Hobbit. Bilbo Baggins, a hobbit from the Shire, joins dwarves and Gandalf to defeat Smaug and reclaim a treasure. Along the way, he finds a mysterious ring. The Lord of the Rings. Frodo Baggins, Bilbo's nephew, inherits the One Ring, created by the Dark Lord Sauron. With the Fellowship of the Ring, he journeys to destroy it in Mount Doom, facing dangers and temptations. The Silmarillion chronicles Middle-earth's creation, the wars over the Silmarils, and the struggle against Morgoth, the first Dark Lord. It sets the stage for Sauron and the Ring. Key themes: friendship and sacrifice. In The Hobbit, Bilbo's bond with the dwarves helps overcome challenges. In The Lord of the Rings, Frodo and Sam's friendship is a hymn to loyalty. In the Silmarillion, alliances between elves and men are key to victory. Good versus evil. The ring in The Lord of the Rings symbolizes the temptation of power. In the Silmarillion, the Silmarils spark greed in wars, showing how power corrupts. Ecology. Tolkien despised industrialization. The Shire in The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings is an idol, while Mordor represents environmental destruction. In the Silmarillion, Morgoth ravages the world. Loss and hope. Frodo loses his peace, Bilbo returns changed, and the Silmarillion's heroes pay a high price for victories. Tolkien shows that heroism has consequences. Hidden meanings. Tolkien's Catholic faith permeates his works. The ring can be seen as a symbol of sin, Frodo as a Christ-like figure bearing a burden. In the Silmarillion, Eru Ilúvatar's creation mirrors Christian cosmology, yet Tolkien avoided direct allegory, crafting universal stories. The ecological subtext is strong. Saruman in The Lord of the Rings and Morgoth in the Silmarillion destroy nature for power, reflecting Tolkien's fears of modernization. Part 4. Fascinating facts about the books and author. Invented languages. Tolkien created dozens of languages, like Quenya, inspired by Finnish, and Sindarin, inspired by Welsh, used across all three works. Real-life Shire. Warwickshire inspired the Shire in The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. Its hills and mills shaped the landscapes. The Inklings. Tolkien shared drafts with C.S. Lewis in the Inklings literary group, influencing all his works. Film adaptations. Peter Jackson's trilogy, 2001 to 2003, won 17 Oscars, and The Hobbit was adapted into films, 2012 to 2014. The Silmarillion in music. The creation story in the Silmarillion describes the Ainur's music, reflecting Tolkien's love for harmony. Part 5. Impact and legacy. The Hobbit created children's fantasy, The Lord of the Rings defined epic fantasy, and the Silmarillion laid the foundation for mythological worlds. The works influenced authors like J.K. Rowling and J.R.R. Martin. Films, games, series, The Rings of Power, and fan communities made Middle-earth a cultural phenomenon. Conclusion. Friends, Tolkien's works are more than books, they're a world teaching us to value friendship, fight evil, and protect nature. The Hobbit enchants with its simplicity, The Lord of the Rings awes with its scope, and the Silmarillion unveils mythological depths. If you haven't read them, now's the time. Share your favorite book or moment in the comments. Thanks for joining me. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. What book should we cover next? Let us know in the comments, and see you in the next video.